Welcome to lesson 3.4. So today we're going to do a few things with 3.4. I know yesterday we did 3.3 and it was a little bit for a quiz and an assessment grade. Today we're going to work on 3.4 and we're going to do more work with fractions. So you guys have worked with fractions on a number line before. You guys have done this since about third grade. It's something that we learned in third grade. So when you think of a number line, usually what you see is you see from 0 to 1. Okay? You see from 0 to 1. And then what they do is they break it in half. So like if I put in a spot right here, how many spaces do I have? 2. So that is your denominator. And this is the first jump that I made. So that makes that 1/2. And then this would make this one 2 halves. Because again, there are 2 spaces and that's my second jump. 2 halves is the same as 1 whole. Okay, so when you're doing fractions on a number line, a lot of times this is where you stop. The problem is numbers don't always stop. Sometimes your number line will start at 0 and will go to 4 or 10 or 20. You never know how far it's going to go. It just depends on the number line itself. So if I go from 0 to 4, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out where my whole numbers are. So this is 4, that's about 3, that's about 2, and that's about 1. Really, the line should be mostly even. So if I look at my number line, this is about where they would be. Okay, so here's my number line, and it's going to continue. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I can still cut it into pieces. So what you're going to do is you're going to look between each whole number. So from 1 to 2, if I'm just looking 1 to 2, how many spaces do you see? When I say spaces, I mean I have 1, 2, 3 spaces. That means that this is now listed and it is separated into thirds. All right, so looking at this, that means that these are now in thirds. So that's going to help me label my number. Okay, so I know that it's broken into thirds. 1 third, 2 thirds, 3 thirds, I know is a whole, 4 thirds, 5 thirds, 6 thirds. I know if I do 6 divided by 3, my answer is 2. So that helps me check to make sure I'm on the right path. So when you put numbers on a number line that are fractions, you can use this little part down here to help you. Remember, you're looking at your spaces between one whole number. Whatever group of whole numbers you want to look at, it's going to be the same. Okay? So if I look between 2 and 3, I have 1 space, 2 space, 3 spaces. Again, that's why my denominator is 3. That's why it's thirds. It's a little trick to help you out. Now, when writing numbers on a number line, one thing that you need to understand is if this is my number line and this is 0 and this is 1, I need all of my pieces to be the same size. If I break it like this and I say this is 1/2, I'm sorry, but if we're eating chocolate cookies or pizza or cake, this would be my piece because it's a lot bigger. It's not okay. When you're breaking it in half or breaking fractions, just like you know, it wouldn't be fair if I had a bigger piece than you. So when you're separating a number line into fractions, your number line needs to be separated into even pieces. So here's a couple tricks for you. To separate it in half, literally, that's probably the easiest one to do. Now the trick for fourths. Each half would be then worth cut into 2. So cut each half into half. That's your little trick. Okay? For thirds, your little trick, what I do is I think, okay, this is about half, and then I move my fingers out until it looks like it's even. I'll do that again. Here's my middle, and then I move them both ways until all the pieces look about the same size. And then I put my lines there. Close to the same size. Does it have to be perfect? No. but it does need to be close. So you're going to be using number lines a lot this quarter. You're going to be using them for fractions. And when I grade your answer, a lot of times you're going to have to put the lines on there for me. That means that, again, if you're just marking it in half and you say 1/2 goes right here, I'm going to mark your answer wrong. You need to do your best to make the spaces be equal. Does that make sense? So that is just a little overview of how to use the number line, a little bit of a review with that. So we're going to start working on your math workbook. Open up to page 80, page 80. Page 80. I'm going to give you guys just a second to get it open. All right, now that you're on page 80, here's how my assignment is going to work for the day. So we're going to do a math message. So a math message is something that I verbally tell you. It's not written in the book. So you really have to listen. My suggestion when we do math messages is take notes if you can. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to model what that would look like today. So here's my math message. 3 friends are going for a run. Okay, so my three friends that are going for a run, we have Ida, Nathan, and Janice. Ida, Nathan, and Janice. They're all running on the track, and after about 12 minutes, Ida had ran 1.5 miles. Nathan had run 3/2 of a mile. So I'm going to put an N for Nathan. And Janice had run 3/4. Oops. Janice ran 3/4 of a mile. Okay. Now, we need to figure out who ran faster. And what I need you to do is we're going to use our math workbook, our math journal, to document where they ran. So the first thing I'm going to do, one of the options that you can do is you can find a common denominator. Okay? Absolutely, you can find a common denominator. We talked about that when we talked about adding fractions. It's something that you could do. The other option is I'm going to use my number line to help me. Super easy. And I'm going to start with that 1.5 because I know that 1.5 is bigger than 1 and it's halfway between 1 and 2. So I'm going to start by putting a line here and putting an I for Ida. Done. That's Ida. Notice if I cut it in half here, I cut it in half here on purpose. Now I'm going to count by halves because guess what? My friend Nathan also ran halves, but he ran 3/2. So now I'm going to count my jumps. 1/2, 2/2, 3/2. Nathan also ran the same amount as Ida. It's a different number, but it's the same fraction. And now we need to see how far Janice ran. Janice ran in 3/4. So that means that I need to fix this. Right now, between 1 and 0, I'm only split into halves. That means I need 4 spaces, not 2. So I'm going to cut this again in half. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, 7/4. That one's a little crooked, a little close, but that's okay. So now where is 3/4? 1, 2, 3. So right here is where Janice is. That's how you're going to do this problem. That's how you can use these number lines to help you. First, you need to figure out how you're going to separate your number line. Then you need to figure out where your answer goes. The best way to do this is to label your number line. Okay? So, looking at number 2. Gary ran 1 2/3 of a mile. Lena ran 7/6 of a mile. Who ran farther? Use the number lines below to help you answer the question. First, it says divide this number line into show you thirds. That's easy. I'm just following directions. It gives me two number lines. I'm going to use them. Okay, remember thirds? I kind of start in the middle and I move until my fingers are equal. So 1/3, 2/3. Oh, wrong line. My bad. Sorry, guys. Let's try that again. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3. All right. The other way you can do this is you can label it 1/3, 2/3, 1, 1 and 1/3, 1 and 2/3, 2. So those are the two different ways you can label it. One way is a mixed number, the other way is an improper fraction. Either way is the same. It does the same amount. Now it says place a dot at 1 and 2/3. Okay, here's 1 and 2/3 past that. Notice 1 and 2/3. That means my answer is going to be bigger than 1. So I have to be between these two numbers. That's how I know that this is where I go. B, divide this number line to show sixths. All right, to show sixths. Same idea. I'm going to cut it in half. And then I'm going to cut each half into thirds. Cut it in half. And then cut each half into thirds. And now I can label it. 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, 6/6, 7/6, 8/6, 9/6. Hold on. I messed up. Because each of these goes in half. 7/6, 8/6, 9/6, 10/6, 11/6, 12/6. Again, look at my numbers, my lines, they're pretty even all the way across. Okay? Now that I have it labeled across the top, I am going to go ahead and put my dot where it goes. I know that I need to put my dot at 7/6. Okay, so who ran further? Which dot is farther along? Your answer should be Lena. Lena is farther along. So you can definitely use number lines to check which one is bigger. So I am going to show you that too. We're going to work on this today. But I am also going to upload another video of how to compare fractions. We call it butterfly method. You can also call it cross multiply. You may have done it in the past, and that's okay. It is just another way to compare fractions. Today, I want you to do it with the number line or with fraction circle pieces or butterfly method. Okay, and I'm actually not going to upload another video. I'm just going to show you now because it says that I can use fraction circle pieces or anything else. So this is what you do. Are you ready? Ready for your mind to be blown? All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, so prepare for your mind to be blown, like I said. We're going to do something called the butterfly method. Now, if I say, how did you find your answer? Don't tell me you did the butterfly method. You can tell me that you did cross multiply. Fine. All right, here you go. 5/8, 9/10. You're going to draw your little butterfly wings. And then you're going to draw your little antenna. See how it kind of looks like a butterfly kind of? Imagine that's an actual antenna, not a weird circle. And then you're going to multiply. 10 times 5 is 50. 8 times 9 is 72. Whichever side is bigger, that fraction is bigger. So 9/10 is the bigger fraction. Pretty cool, huh? You might have learned this last year, maybe. If not, it's okay. If you did, awesome. But this is an awesome way to do it. Again, it's called cross multiply. All right, 5/3, 1 and 5/6. Now there's a problem here because I can't do that with cross multiply. What do I have to do first? I have to make it into an improper fraction. All right, 5/6. Now, I can use these number lines up here because this kind of helps me. 5/3 is right here. 1 and 5/6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be right here. So I can use my number line at the top to help me. 1 and 5/6 is going to be bigger. 2 and 1/4 or 20/12. 2 and 1/4 or 20/12. First of all, let's do 20 divided by 12. What's 20 divided by 12? 1, remainder 8. So what's bigger, 2 or 1? And finally, 9/6 or 3/12. I'm going to use butterfly method for this one. 9/6, cross multiply. 13/12, draw your little butterfly wings. Draw your antenna. And let's multiply. 9 times 12. 108. 13 times 6. I'm going to write it out because that helps me. 6 times 3 is 18. Carry my 1. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 1 is 7. 78. So which side is bigger? This side. That means this fraction is bigger. But these have bigger numbers. I don't care. This one is bigger. There are a lot of different ways that we can compare fractions. This is just one of those ways. We're going to learn a few more ways throughout the next couple weeks, so really pay attention to those as we get there. If this is confusing, you can use your fraction circle pieces. You can draw a picture. You can use a number line. Do whatever is easiest for you. Okay? Number 4. Here's more practice. All right, Rachel and Dan are growing plants in a science class. Rachel reports that her plant is 1 1/4 inches tall. Dan says that his plant is 5/2 of an inch tall. All right, so 1 1/4. So here's 1, here's 1/4. So this is Rachel, and Rachel's is going to be blue. Dan's is 5/2. 1/2, 2/2, 3/2, 4/2, 5/2. So Dan's is now going to be green. Whose is more? Dan. Dan's is bigger. Now, I'm going to draw it on the number line so we can see it and just to make sure. So I'm going to start by drawing my number line, and I'm going to go from 0 to, let's say, 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to start by drawing it in halves because I want to figure out where those halves are. So remember, between whole numbers, between 0 and 1 should be cut in half. Between 1 and 2, cut in half. Cut in half, cut in half. Dan's is 5/2. So 1/2, 2/2, 3/2, 4/2, 5/2. So right here is Dan's. Now, Rachel says hers are in 4ths. So I need to fix it so it's in 4ths now. So Rachel is going to cut all of her little lines in 4ths. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my 4ths are going to be those red lines. Okay, so 1 1/4 would be right here. There is Rachel. So whose is bigger? Dan. How do we know? 1 1/4 is smaller than 2 1/2. I can use that as my reasoning. Done. Done. If I have them with the same denominator, another way you could say this is 5/4 is smaller than 10/4. How I got 10/4 is I made my common denominator. Again, we've talked about that. Multiply the top and the bottom by the same number. That's how you get a common denominator. All right, for numbers 5 through 10, rename each fraction as a mixed number or each mixed number as a fraction that is greater than 1. You may use the fraction number lines poster or fraction circle pieces or division, hint, 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 to help you. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that I do this. The first way is I'm going to look at the number and I'm going to see, okay, it's an improper fraction. And I'm going to divide 5 divided by 3. Okay. 5 divided by 3. 5 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 left over. Now, on my lesson yesterday, I told you that my 2 now becomes my numerator, and my 3 stays the denominator. So 1 2/3 would be your answer for number 5. Number 6, 1 7/9. All right, this one you're going to get mad. Whenever you have a mixed number and you want to change it to an improper fraction, you're going to get mad. M-A-D. You're going to multiply, add, and your denominator stays the same. Okay, so I'm going to go in a circle. It looks like a little bit of a C going upside down. We're going to go around this way. I'm going to multiply 9 times 1. Then I'm going to add. So 9 times 1 is 9, plus 7 is 16. And then my denominator stays the same. My denominator was 9, so guess what it is again? 9. That's how you do this. So number 6, your answer will be 16/9. Number 7 and 8, we're going to do together, and you will do 9 and 10 as part of your assignment for the day. 7 and 8. 7 is 11/8, and we're going to divide that one. 8 is 1 5/6, and we're going to get mad for that one. Okay, we'll get there in a minute. All right, first we're going to divide. Now, it's 11 divided by 8. Remember, that's what a fraction is. This divided by this. The little line means divided by. So my 11 goes inside. It's my dividend. My divisor is 8. It goes on the outside. 8 goes into 11 one time with 3 left over. My 3 becomes my numerator, and my denominator stays the same. Your answer for that one should be 1 3/8. 1 3/8. All right, here we go. We're going to get mad. Remember, a little backwards C. Multiply and then add. 6 times 1 plus 5. My denominator stays the same. 11/6. You're going to do number 9 and number 10 again for part of your lesson. Make sure that you are there. Number 11, rename 34/8 as a mixed number. How do I make it a mixed number? Remember, I'm going to divide. So I'm going to show my work on my paper. 34 divided by 8. I know 8 goes into 34 4 times. Because 4 times 8 is 32. Subtract and I get 2 left over. Remember, that's now my numerator and my denominator stays the same. So my answer is 4 2/8. Explain your reasoning. That means, how did you solve the problem? I multiplied my denominator times my whole number then I added that to my numerator. Oh, wait. Wrong problem. My bad. Sorry, guys. If you already started writing that, I am so sorry. You can just pretend like I didn't say that. That's not what we do for this one. No one stopped me. What you do for this one is I divided 34 divided by 8. My whole number is 4. My remainder is 2/8. This is what you need to write down for that answer. Notice I used math words. I divided, whole number, remainder. Using those math terms is what's going to get you your credit. Also, bringing this back, hopefully you guys are paying attention and you are here. In your assignment for the day, you are also going to have to see a little spot in your checklist. In your checklist, it will say what is the word that Miss Gilman said. Your word today is picture. P-I-C-T-U-R-E. And you're going to figure out why tomorrow we're going to use pictures to help us. So P-I-C-T-U-R-E. All right. Have a great day, guys. Hopefully this isn't too long. I know it's a longer video, but there was a lot of stuff to practice today. Try your best. Do what you can. And I will see you during our Zoom if you have my Zoom. Have a great day, guys.